Okay, 2004 Expedition turn signal switch. This switch is broken. It's not an electrical failure, it's a mechanical broken. So I'm going to replace the turn signal switch. 2004 Ford Expedition. We have to pull the steering wheel off in order to get this cover off in order to get to the turn signal switch. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the steering wheel off. The easiest way I found is to have the vehicle running to start with. Turn the wheel to where you can get access to this plug that's right here to unbolt the airbag. So that's what I did. I popped this plug off. I'll do the other side here shortly. I'm going to take this bolt out, which is a 5/16 or 8mm. My tool didn't fit there. My tool fits here. So one bolt that goes in, it goes in at an angle about like this to bolt that up. So then I'll show you here this cover, this plug. And the only reason I have the car running is to turn the steering wheel with ease. So this pops out right in the cup holder, perfect. Then you'll see the bolt that comes through this way. I'm going to turn the steering wheel in the position that I can get to that bolt again, which is right there. I'll unbolt that. Pull this bolt out. I'll just use the cup holder again. Now I'm going to put the wheel back straight. The reason I do that, for obvious reasons, is the clock spring that's in there. You want it in the straight ahead position. I'm going to turn the vehicle off now. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery to eliminate any problems with the airbag system, and that way there's no issues with it. This cover should come off now. But before I unplug anything, I'm going to wait. I'm going to disconnect the battery, let it drain down so there's no power left in the system, so nothing happens. Now that the battery has been disconnected for about 5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and start unplugging these things. This is the horn contact here. Unplug the horn contact. Now the airbag pieces are a little different. You have to squeeze. It's hard to see maybe, but there's a tab there you can see me push in on. Same thing on the other side, so I'm going to push those 2 tabs in and pull up on this, and that comes off with pretty much ease. Now we're going to take the steering wheel off. I'm going to unplug the steering wheel from the spiral cable or the clock spring here. There's a tab to push down on and pull that one connector out. And that releases the steering wheel from the spiral cable. Now I can this stays connected. That's all one piece. You don't unplug that one. I have a T50. Unbolt the steering wheel. I wiggle it back and forth with gentle ease, and it did break loose. I don't need the steering wheel puller. Most of the time you need a steering wheel puller. Every once in a while you get lucky and the steering wheel will break free just by rocking it back and forth gently. And then before I take the steering wheel off, I'm going to make sure there's marks to line it up, which there is. There's a mark here which lines up with the center of the steering wheel here. So those lines, so when I go back together, I want to make sure it goes back together right there. So that comes apart completely. And then you can see the steering wheel shroud, the steering column shroud goes inside the steering wheel, covers it up quite a bit. So that's why you have to remove the steering wheel. Okay, I'm going to pull this shroud off now, and I'm just going to move this tilt lever all the way down and relax it. And the only reason is hopefully to give us a lot more clearance and play in this parts here, so it will move around once I get these 2 screws out. That didn't look factory. Those 2 screws that I took out there allowed this to come off, but in order to get this top one off, there's one more screw in here. It's on the bottom side. It goes up right here. You'll be able to see it with the flashlight and this, and I'll get the camera in here in a second. But if you look from that angle, you can see it's right up underneath the back side of the turn signal switch. So the magnet is stuck on the head of the screw that I need to get out. So I'm going to pull this out of the way, and you'll be able to see where that screw is. And that's the screw that I'm going to pull out, and that'll allow that shroud to come all the way off. Okay, I got that screw out now. So obviously this is broken. You're not going to be, the one you're replacing may or may not be broken like mine is, but you have to pull this cover off. and then you'll end up sliding it over the turn signal lever, such like that, and then you'll be stuck with that switch in there. So I'm gonna, now the switch is held in with 2 screws, I believe, or a locking tab and a locking tab there. So I'm gonna pull the screws out. It looks like they're 7/32, or 5.5 millimeter. They're again the same, about the same size. This is a 7/32. It goes right on this screw here. This is a 5.5. It also goes right on that screw, same size. I'm gonna take this one screw out, and then I'm gonna pull straight up on the switch, and hopefully it comes out. And there's a locking tab here. I'm gonna push this locking tab in, and it slides straight up. Now there's gonna be wires connected that I'll have to unplug. So I'm just gonna pull it a little bit out of the way here. Unplug these one at a time. Push the tab in, pull that out. Push the tab in, pull that out. Take the screwdriver, push it in, and unplug it. There we have the broken switch out of the way. I'm going to try to plug this in the same way so I can put it back in. This one, in here. Now make sure the wires go in the right side of everything here. And this goes in. And when I get the battery hooked up, I'll try everything out, make sure everything works. Alright, with the magic of video, put everything back together the same way it came apart, and it's got the battery hooked back up. No lights on the dash other than the door ajar light, and turn signals work, and try the wipers. Oops, that was the rear wipers. They're working, by the way.